Welcome back to Film Snob HQ. The road to Avengers Doomsday continues. We are trekking our way through Phase 3 of the MCU, the fourth era of Marvel movies, the final Fox era, if you will. And next up is another sequel. It was hotly awaited. It took 3 years for this one to come out. The next film in the series will take 6 years, so 3 years is a blessing in the long run. It was the most surprising entry in the franchise, that first one, so there's a lot of hype around it. I'm talking about, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which takes place just 6 months after the first film, but as I said, was released 3 years later. The gang is now a more gelled together team. They've still got some issues. Rocket and Peter Quill constantly kind of fighting for control of the team and trying to prove who's the better pilot. Drax learning to have a sense of humor, but not quite fitting in with the vibe of the group. And now Groot, who passed away in the first film, is reborn as a baby, and he's now a smaller tree. This is a different Groot, by the way. James Gunn's confirmed this. He has no memories of his previous life. He's now a new Groot. The film begins with them trying to help a race called the Sovereign, who are an all-gold, very extremely serious race of aliens, and they've got these special batteries that they're trying to protect. They save the batteries from an incoming attacker, and just when things are looking good and they manage to get their hands on Nebula, so they can return her to Xandar, Rocket goes and spoils everything by stealing batteries, and then they suddenly have the Sovereign hot on their tails. During a daring escape through an asteroid field, they come across a weird egg-shaped spaceship with a man on top of it, who follows them as they crash land onto a nearby planet, and it's revealed that the man on the egg-shaped planet, or spaceship I should say, is none other than Ego, who claims to be Peter Quill's father. From here, the group gets split up. Drax, Gamora, and Peter go ahead and join Ego and his, herald, you would say, Mantis, as they go back to Ego's planet, and the others stay with the crash ship, trying to get things back on track, but then, of course, are interrupted by Ravagers and Yondu. From here, the film kind of spirals into two different directions, both groups getting into plenty of trouble before reuniting and saving the day. I'm not going to unveil the plot too much. It's an older film, so you've probably seen this one. And if you haven't, I don't want to spoil it too much for you. Tonally, it's very similar to the first one. It's a lot of fun. I would say this is probably the weakest in the franchise, and that is by no means a criticism or saying it's a bad film. It's a lot of fun, but it does lean quite heavily into the jokes, maybe a little bit too much at times. It doesn't allow those serious moments to sit when they could. But all in all, it's a really fun next adventure for the gang. We've got some new characters. Ego, the Living Planet, played by Kurt Russell, who's just charming and brilliant in every single way. And Pom Clemente comes in as Mantis, who's maybe my favorite member of the Guardians. Now that we've got the full team in assembly, I just think she's really fun. I like that she's so naive and inexperienced in life, and because of that, like, there's a lot of things that just go over her head and kind of plays well for humor. Her humorous moments are not the weak points in the film for me. It's still got some really wonderful emotional beats. We find out the true meaning behind the death of Peter Quill's mum and how that came to pass, and that's quite a heartbreaking moment as well. And we finally get some more development on the Peter Quill-Gamora romance also. Visually, it's one of the most stunning films in the Marvel Universe. I'd put it up there with Doctor Strange. For a space movie, which are usually so cold and sterile and dark, this is full of color. It is explosive how colorful it is, and it works on every level there. The soundtrack is actually my favorite soundtrack of the three Guardians films. The first one is obviously iconic and really kind of showed us what a Marvel superhero film could do with a soundtrack, but the second one for me, the tracks are just better on every level. I really like that second soundtrack. The performances are all good. The story, a little bit light, as I mentioned, but certainly has some great consequences leading in to Infinity War, but there is no mention of Thanos or Infinity Stones in this one. It is a very self-contained Guardians adventure. I remember when I saw this in theaters, my experience was slightly marred because there was a woman next to me who was obsessed with Chris Pratt, and every time he was on screen just basically moaned out his name in explosive fever, and it really annoyed me. I also got a little bit annoyed because this movie was released just after the Fox acquisition, and I read online, literally minutes before walking to the theater, that the role that Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rosenbaum had been cast in were Galactus and Silver Surfer. Like, it was meant to be a big spoiler. And as the movie started, I realized that day was the 1st of April and people were messing with me. So I was really excited to see characters that were never going to be in the film, and that's totally fine. Really fun flick. You haven't checked it out, go and check it out. If you haven't seen it in a while, go and check it out. The whole Guardians franchise is so worth your time, so give it a go, have fun with it. In terms of returning characters, I don't think we're going to get Ego back. I don't think we're going to get the Sovereign back, and I don't think we're going to get Mantis. There doesn't seem to be any call for the Guardians in these films other than Peter Quill, who's now on Earth. So I don't think they'll show up, but I would love Mantis to come back in Secret Wars. I don't think we need Ego. He's too large a threat to be there whilst also dealing with Doom and all the other villains. He's kind of in a similar range to Dormammu. Just too big, to bring in there. But Mantis would be great. I'd love to bring her back. That's it. That's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Next up is Spider-Man Homecoming.